Good evening, Sharpies. I'm Tom Cunningham,
I'm Joy Stevens.
and this is Steel Sharpens Steel. We would like to announce that today's broadcast is brought to you by Orida and the Bartlett Anjou Collective.
Yes, tots
There's
and prayers. Pairs.
sending our very best, our very
Yes.
best. Thank you for joining us. We are happy to be here. There is a lot to talk about. We alluded to the same when I put out the episode topics. Of course, the first thing that we should discuss is this is the 24th anniversary of 9/11. It kind of slipped under the radar, as it were.
And that's
Um,
insane when you think about it.
that is absolutely insane. What is also it occurred to me, it brought to mind, all of my children were born after 9/11.
Wow.
So they never lived in a world in which 9/11 hadn't happened. Up until
Mhm.
this year, my kids all had to take their shoes off at airports. There was none of this pre 9/11 existence that they were even aware of. It was just like the normal things. Just like my youngest son grew up with a black president. The only president he knew was
Mhm.
Barack Obama. There had been no president before him. And so here we are now, 24 years later. Is that two generations, Joy?
It's a
Is that
generation
two
and a half.
generations?
But
Generation and
what's
a half.
interesting about what you're saying is I just had this conversation from a different direction earlier today when somebody was like, they were talking about, how we got here and et cetera, and how us as Black people seem to have, lost the plot. And we no
Mhm.
longer understand the need for certain things. And, we got to get out here and blah, blah, blah. And I had to remind her, I was like, you got to remember, the only thing that has really changed about the United States of America is the misperceptions and misunderstandings of Black people when we thought white people had changed. They have been consistent since 1619, right? They've been on the same thing for the entire time. We got a little bit of money, a little bit of clout, a couple cars, and thought things were better. We had some TV shows. To your point, we got a Black president, and we started feeling ourselves, and we stopped. We took our foot off the gas and our eye off the prize, if you will, and allowed them to go, oh, you thought we was over? The South has been talking about rising again for 200 years, right? And so here we are. And on top of that, to your point about your kids, the reality they were born into does not reflect the struggle that brought that reality about. And
Absolutely.
so they don't understand when we talk about walking with dogs and hoses and marching, and they've never seen that. It's all just some random textbook anecdote, if they even got taught about it in school, right?
Absolutely.
And then they had a Black president. So when people say, uh, DEI is bad, they kind of go, well, I can see your point because, yeah, if it was racism, we wouldn't have had a Black president. They believe the things that they've been told by their friends and counterparts in school. And there's this, at the same time, toxic masculinity is at an all-time high, and
Mhm.
Black men are not immune to it. It's similar to the machismo in a lot of Latin communities, and this desire to control women. And I have
Mhm.
heard with my own ears some young guys talking about women showing leg and blah blah blah. They need to be modest and something else, and they gotta give their heart over to the Lord because God doesn't like this. And that religious fervor lends itself to radicalization by the right, right? I'm doing what God wants me to do, and if you ignore the rest, you right there with the rest of the MAGA hats, right?
Oh, yeah, no, you ain't said nothing but a thing. It is incredible to me how we have found ourselves in a place where, on a day of national mourning, the worst terror attack, well, certainly in the 21st century, because it happened like right there in
Mm-hmm.
the bridge between the 20th and the 21st century, but also in memory. I don't know if there was anything with as much cultural impact as 9/11 since Pearl Harbor, let's say.
Yeah.
It was that kind of touchstone in our collective consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to somebody today who said, if Rudy Giuliani had faded into the background, by 2003.
Yeah.
Be this venerated, eternally beloved
Statues in the city.
Brought the country together and all this sort of stuff. And now he's a guy who lost the biggest lawsuit and crashed his entire life.
Mm-hmm. Melted on national TV like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Melted on national TV, and now has been struck by a car. And who knows what the end result of it will be? Oh yeah.
So literally a hit dog holler.
Oh.
Mm.
So there's a lot.
I want to address what Samuel is saying right here, because yes, this is exactly what I mean about these young guys. What he says, if you're watching this on your phone, I also think there's a lot of pent-up sexual frustration with a lot of men, and they're taking it out on people they believe are too liberated, meaning LGBTQ and women, because we are, in their minds, we are the scapegoat for why they can't get laid. And if these women, and I've talked about this before with the incel community, which is race agnostic. Anybody can have blue laws, right? And be mad about it and want to blame somebody for it. And like every generation before them, they find someone to blame, and they feel like if I can eradicate you, then I can make my life better. And we're seeing it all over again. And this isn't the first time. We've had the Inquisition. We've had witch hunts. We've had sacrifices in the volcanoes. We've had purges. We've had, what's the word I'm looking for? Genocides over and over and over again. Because if I get rid of that, my life will be better. And one of the things that worried me the first time this dude got into office was, yes, eventually his base would figure out that if you got rid of us, the problem is still there, and they might turn on them, eat the rich, go the whole route of France with the French Revolution, etc. But it required them to get rid of us first.
You know, you said something before when you were talking about these black men and the machismo and everything else, and combined with Sam's comment, it brings up the issue that a lot of these men feel that they are owed the physical interaction with a woman, because they're a man.
Yes.
And so they're just supposed to get it. It's supposed to come to them like an unexpected FedEx package. It's just supposed to arrive, and you're going to cook and clean and service me. That's their internal perception, because they're told that they're the alpha and all these other sorts of things. We got into the alphas and the betas and the omegas a while ago. Many episodes ago. But the whole point is that they really don't have an understanding of what being a decent human being is, much less a potential partner for whomever it is that you want to partner with. Shout out to my mother, who has made 2 episodes in a row. It's good to see you watching, Mom. Love you, appreciate you. Glad you're back home. And so it strikes me that we are in this place where not only are we fed a constant diet of scrolling and falling down into these horror holes of different things and different pieces of content and everything. It's on our phones, it's on our computers, it's over the airwaves. We're constantly being inundated with all of these things. And so it can't help but impact a weak, underdeveloped mind into adopting some of these things non-critically, as opposed to taking the few steps. It doesn't even take a lot of steps. I'm not saying everybody has to do the work that Joy and I do in terms of absorbing information and processing it meaningfully, but you can't just say, well, this clown on Fox News said it, and ergo it is true and immutable. It's not the way to look at things. So it kind of brings us to, since we started off the show talking about 9/11. It kind of brings.
I want a rabbit hole with Sam here, or Samuel. So his next comment was, well, with porn being so acceptable, many men don't even know how to get with a woman, because when they are watching porn, it goes right into sex. It doesn't show them how to actually pursue somebody. So above and beyond the lack of foreplay and the fact that, the reason that she's all shiny is because they shine her up, right? But is the fact that men don't know how to approach women. They don't know how to accept rejection, because nobody gets rejected in a porn. It doesn't matter what you look like. You're there, she's there, you're supposed to have sex. That is the natural thing of what they're seeing. And all the things that they do in some of those videos, this is what girls like. No, that's actually is not. And none of this is right. And all of it is to make it easy for you to ignore any sort of effort to check on somebody, to please them, etc. And going out with somebody, talking, having a date. You know, I bought you 2-piece with a biscuit and fries. So you putting out a what? Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, and it doesn't help that you've got all of these content producers who are showing the worst possible date scenarios.
Right.
So, like, I saw a piece of content where, to me, it looked like it was a setup. To me, it looked like she went to a restaurant where her baby daddy was either the manager or the server, because she went before he had gotten back from the bathroom. She had ordered 9 entrees because she's got kids. 9 entrees, and had been brought some of the food already. So I don't know if it was a skit, but the whole point is the guy was like, I mean, I'll pay for your food. I'll pay for my food. Well, you got to pay for my 9 kids. And then the server is like, so what you going to do? He's like, well, I'm going to pay for me and I'm going to leave. He's like, no, you're not, sir. You're about to do all this. And when you see that, it's like, see, these ain't,
it's confirmation bias. See, these women, that's how they out here trying to get me for my money.
They're trying to get me
$10 an hour.
Bro.
I'm not trying to get you for your money because you have none.
You had to roller skate over here.
If I'm dating you, I'm not gold digging, I'm dirt digging. Right? It's really happening. Let's be honest.
Dirt sweeping. Maybe.
Right.
You're not even putting the effort to dig.
With your dusty, ashy self.
Come on, Dashy. All right. So while we were talking about 9/11, it is important. I think it probably was Chan.
Chan, don't even get me started on the hygiene thing. Okay, I'm gonna stop rabbit holing right there because I don't even want to talk about.
Yeah, I will say that I did see something, Joy, on that particular thing that Chan was just talking about, where it was it's one of these party games. They have all these games that are being advertised on TikTok and stuff, where it's a whole bunch of black people in a room and they're arguing about stuff. And so I did buy some because I know that should go be lit. But one of the questions was, do you use more or less than 2 squares when you go to the bathroom? And I was like, 2 squares? Is this a Seinfeld episode? What are you talking about? Like, you got to be kidding.
Right? Is that for me to lay my toothbrush on the sink? Like,
I had no idea. I was like,
you're squares.
Nothing. You aren't even creating a TP sandwich with 2 squares. Stop it. Clean yourselves.
Right.
It's not that tough. So anyway, we were talking about 9/11, and one of the things that immediately hopped out at a bunch of people on 9/11 is the appearance of okay, Sam, we're moving on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. All right. So one of the things that immediately turned out is the appearance of the occupant of the White House. And so they're at a 9/11. I believe this was at the Pentagon because certainly he wasn't traveling to New York. J.D. Vance even skipped out on traveling to New York because he was going to another thing, which we'll talk about later. But this is what the president looked like. They are literally reading the names of service persons that were killed in 9/11. And this is what he looks like. Now, one lip is about 3/4 of an inch lower than the other.
Right. If this picture had a sound, it would be
boom, boom, boom. His shoulders are hunched.
Literally talking out the side of his mouth.
Out the side of his mouth. And I will give Melania credit. Melania at least is sitting upright and has the bearing of someone who knows that they are there. Clarence Carter. Stroke man. Yeah. So that was one of my favorite songs in high school. So the point is that it's not great. And can you imagine if a photo of Biden was shared where
they'd be screaming for him to be impeached? Yeah.
And this isn't even him saying anything, although he also looks like he's kind of asleep. And they're ringing a bell. And I don't know if any of you all saw Weapons. It was definitely not as good as it was hyped up to be.
No, I saw it.
But with the bell ringing and the crazy expression on his face, and I'm just like, no, because Bell's palsy hit like the whole side of his face would be dropped if it was Bell's palsy. It looks like a stroke. It looks like
he can't pass the smile test. What
that's
side by side, mouth, eye, whatever it stands for.
Yeah, the SALT, isn't it? SALT, I think, is the stroke thing, and it's like smile. Well, whatever. The point is that
failing.
He's not passing person, woman, man, camera, TV. No. It's
and the reason we say does he smell? Supposedly, the signs of a stroke is if you smell toast randomly, just
correct
out of your brain. And so I'm sure that he has got a whole bakery in there.
Not in breakfast.
No, but between this and the hands from a couple weeks ago, bruh, are you low key dying, son? Like, just tell us.
Are you okay?
Because you got to remember, aside from the fact that he's old and out of shape and his arteries look like, last week's mudslide, being the president takes a lot of energy. Even if you're a terrible president, just the getting up and being somewhere and flying back and forth. I know if I fly to Europe and come back, I'm exhausted for a week, and he has to fly to Europe and come back and show up somewhere. He also gets his jollies from his little stupid rallies, like he's still fundraising and whatnot. So he is wearing himself out, and he had a whole lot of runway on that.
Donnie, are you okay?
Right.
Donnie, are you okay?
If the presidency takes 10 years off your life, and you was only going to live to 80, and you 78,
I'm wondering where the picture of Dorian Trump is. That's all I need to know. I just need.
We ain't seen Trump Jr. in a minute, have we?
Well,
he's been draining him, and I don't know if you watched what is it, American Horror Story Coven, where they would kill somebody and take the blood and paint their face with it. Yeah, somebody look for Don Jr. because he might be all over his neck.
We're gonna move on, because in addition, there were two huge stories related to Epstein. Epstein is not okay. This is the story that's never going away, and it's beyond just the original allegations and the request for the files. So what happened this past week is that the Epstein estate, not the DOJ, not the files that were held by the FBI, the Epstein estate finally produced the infamous birthday book. This is the biggest collection of disgusting filth celebrated as a commemoration of somebody's 50th birthday that I have ever heard of. The Trump letter was bad enough. And to see these people scrambling and to see Byron Dobson talking about, I've seen him sign millions of things. First of all, hyperbole never helps. You haven't. You've known him for a couple of years, bro. Stop it. You haven't been in the Oval Office that many times to see him sign anything. Also, this is from 30 years ago. And so people's signatures change, especially
when they have a stroke.
Well, and you see him now, and he talked about the auto pen and all this other sort of stuff. If you see him sign things now, he's not signing things like a doctor used to sign things, real quick like this. It's and he doesn't even have twirls and whirls anymore. It's literally just up and down. It looks like his echocardiogram.
Seismograph. Yeah.
It's just like this, and then he has the thing on the end. So Caroline is saying that he definitely didn't do this. Before the actual picture of the page came out, the letter didn't exist. But now the letter is out. It is exactly as the Wall Street Journal described, but it's even pervier when you see it, because when you were just described as it was the outline of a woman's body, what is supposed to be the breasts on this woman's outline, those are not full woman's breasts.
No.
Those are prepubescent breasts. which makes it even more gross. And the placement of his signature is absolutely. Go ahead, Joy. Jump in.
So just to finish your thought, the placement of his signature is at the apex of her hips.
Yes.
And the way he signs the signature, it ends up looking rather bushy.
Pubis.
Yes. It's ridiculous. And it's offending, it's disgusting. And even I don't know too many guys that if they saw somebody send them something like that would be like, this is funny. They'd be like, yo, bro, what the F? They're like, what are you doing?
Well, but I mean, to be fair, it is Jeffrey Epstein. So he probably got a kick out of it.
Too many guys that I know, because I don't know.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
But speaking of, that's what I want to talk about is the language that has been used to describe women for literally hundreds of years. We think that pedophilia is some niche thing that only a few guys out of millions engage in. But I need you to remember during the heaviest time of buying and trading women and flesh and slavery in the United States, they would say things, they would put up ads and say, young filly, something, 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 budding out. Budding out means her breasts are starting to bud out. She is in full bloom. All of these, nature flowering things to say she's about to be ready for whatever you want to do to her. That is prepubescent. We're talking about 12 and 13-year-olds right here. The fact that they still try to keep lowering the age of consent and the age of the marriageable age in certain southern states to 14 and 15 years old. The fact that it was standard practice in Europe for literally a couple hundred years, if not longer, to have a 30-year-old guy marry a 12, 13-year-old. The Queen of England married her cousin. She was like 14 years old. So wanting and having access to extremely young girls is nothing new, and it's more widespread than you think. The reason so many women get Brazilians now is because there was such a huge market for the look of a prepubescent girl in a lot of porn back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, once we started doing video porn. However, that is an industry. People, they got to turn beds, they got to make money, etc. So they would take a small, petite, I've talked about this before, like 100-pound, 5-foot girl, grown woman, because they used to have consent back then. Take a grown woman who was small stature, shave her clean, and put her in a little girl's outfit, and that was the stuff that would sell the most. However, she got another gig in another studio, so she goes over there, she's still shaved, and the idea of shaved women became more popular in mainstream. But it comes from wanting prepubescent bodies, and it's so prevalent. That's the reason that so many people, men and women, struggle to believe victims of sexual assault, because we've created a society that says it doesn't matter what she says, she wanted it. She likes it. That's what she's here for. I paid her. All of this, regardless of the fact that she is 15 years old.
Or
right?
John Benet Ramsey.
Drive. She can't even get a hardship license, but she's supposed to be able to accept this train of rich guys coming into the bedroom.
Well, and this is why this segment is called Epstein's Emails, because we all thought that all we were going to get in this tranche was going to be the stuff from the Epstein estate, the family members, his brother, who is still alive, who has a lot to say about Trump and the relationship with the brother. But what these tranche of emails, it's from 2002 to 2022. So somebody had access to his account after he passed in 2019 and was still corresponding and sending emails. And among the things that are the biggest, because again, this is not like, me and person X did this with this person. It's not like that. But among the things that are very compelling and interesting is that he sent an email, Epstein sent an email to Ghislaine Maxwell sometime after the little real estate thing, which we talked about, where Trump snaked this $41 million estate out from underneath Epstein, that Trump be taken off the list. So there was some list of high-ranking people, rich people, business people, political people, whatever, and that Trump's name be taken off the list. There are email exchanges where Ghislaine says they're probably going to ask him about it now. There's documentation of gifts that were sent to people. There's references to ledgers that show who received this. Alan Dershowitz was the beneficiary of some pretty decent largesse from Jeffrey Epstein. And there are, discussions that could be interpreted as literal transactions for ownership or whatever you
Pay to
want to
play.
say.
Mhm.
Exactly. And so these emails are worse in many ways than anything that is in the documents, right? Because we've been led to believe that the documents are somewhat anodyne, that, there is no list that shows transactions that could either be tied back to
Mhm.
anything. But these emails are something that he might not have ever expected to come out. It's
Right.
20 years of emails, 20 years of emails. And the biggest thing is that it absolutely puts truth to the lie of Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony when
She
she
has
was
perjured
saying all those
herself.
nice things to Todd Blanche. And he says to her, if you lie to me, then that's a different crime and you don't have immunity from that, da 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 da. But she's clearly just outright lying. And
Mhm.
so it really puts a quite a different spin, quite a different take on what she has testified to at this
Mhm.
point. And given what Trump has been saying about everything being a hoax, given that they've been trying to move on from Epstein, and everything that comes out only makes Epstein's scandal more difficult to remove. It's like out damn spot, right? You can't get it to come out.
Right.
Even when you think it's gone, it's still there. It's the telltale heart. Even if it's not beating, you're hearing it and you can't get rid of it and it's driving you insane. That's where we are in the Epstein
Mhm.
saga right now. It's never going away. And
It's
at the
never
rate
going.
Trump is deteriorating, he's going to die with this stain on him with no resolution.
The face that I'm making is the face of someone trying not to make the obvious jokes. Look at me being good. Look at me not saying anything. I'm so proud of me.
Look at you being a
I'm
child of
great.
the Lord.
I'm a child of God.
Child of God.
But speaking of that, if we move on to someone we're not going to call his name, but you know what happened recently. I will take full credit for putting this banner together because I don't want anybody else to be in trouble. So one of the last things that this dude talked about at the rally where it all went down was the fact that those files need to come out. And, I'm engaging in conspiracy beliefs right now to say, clearly it wasn't none of us. We ain't had nothing to do with it. It was an inside job. There's videos that suggest that people near him may have been signaling someone or noticing something, and it all went down. And it was quick. It was not a ketchup packet on the ear. Bruh gone. Right. And on the one hand, this is the violence that we've been talking about. It doesn't matter who it happens to. The violence, because guns are so easily accessible by so many people, it is almost impossible to try to separate the ones who should from the ones who shouldn't. But then on the other side, sucks to be you, bro. You brought it on yourself. Live by the sword, die by the sword, or the bullet, or whatever. But
Yep. Well, there's that part, Chan. And of course, Mike Johnson is so confused. That man is so desperate to try to make something out of nothing and everything else. It really is a shame that we find ourselves with such a paucity of moral turpitude and integrity in quote unquote leadership of the People's House. And meanwhile, Democrats are flipping seats in these special elections. So a person passes and they have a special election. Just this week, the Dems picked up another seat. Greg Abbott has pushed off the replacement seat of the person who died in Texas. And I think he was waiting for these redistricting maps to get pushed through, but they've been pushed that down to November, where perhaps the seat might not reclaim, but perhaps it will be. To the point of what Joy was saying, this is a screenshot of, you see the gentleman, there's in the left-hand side, there's a gentleman with a white shirt and hat. And in the right-hand picture, you've got this guy in the black. Now, I have a video to share. It does not include the actual impact, but I want you to take a look at this video and tell me what you see, because I'm not going to comment on it. I just want you to tell me what you see. I'm gonna play that again because it's very short.
Look at the guy in the black shirt.
Look at the guy in the black shirt. I'm going to take off this image so it's a little less distracting, and I'm going to put us to the side so it's a little less distracting. And look at the guy in the black shirt. Now, those motions that he makes immediately proceed the action that follows.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can't see, because the video that I was able to grab did not show it, the guy in the white cap is literally like a catcher or an MLB coach making hand signals. He touches the brim of his cap, and then he does something with his arm, and he's holding the phone like this, because that's where the action is going to be. He's holding the phone like this.
He's holding it out, record side towards
the person. He touches the hat and he like does some stuff across his chest, and then the guy in black like does this motion and does this, and then the next thing you know, there's the impact. And so the crazy thing about that is, first of all, Kash Patel, uniquely unqualified to be in the position that he is. And not for nothing, they literally fired the longtime head of the special agent in charge of that particular era. Now, she was a Pakistani American who was Muslim. The 3 states she covered were Utah, Idaho, and Montana. So I'm not saying she was perhaps an ideal fit, but she was a trained professional who made her entire career in the FBI. And they removed her only 6 months after she had been confirmed as the SAIC. They removed her. So there's no real agency coverage for this person. And this happens. Kash Patel tweets, "We got it." And then Kash Patel has to tweet, "He was released." And then they catch another person. "We got it." And then it turns out that that person wasn't the one. Meanwhile, there are these long distance shots. You can actually see the person on the roof of the building from which the shot was fired. Come to find out, unlike a lot of buildings, because of the unique landscape of where this university is situated and how these buildings are structured, you can walk from high grass onto the roof of the building. You ain't got to climb nothing. You ain't got to go inside stairs. You can walk onto the roof, which means you can run off of the roof. And while they were running around higgledy-piggledy trying to track down these 2 people, they burned the better part of a day. When that dude walked off, he's in the wind. And when you think maybe he had 2 co-conspirators sitting right there, this is not mental illness. This isn't a person with a manifesto. This was, in my opinion, this was not, this was a lot more John Wilkes Booth than the guy at Trump's golf course. Let's put it that way. Because they still ain't found this dude. And Luigi Mangione, you don't have a picture of this dude smiling into a camera. There's a picture, and that the pictures they have might not even be the dude either. But the pictures they have, this dude has a cap on. He's got the big ass sunglasses. He's in a black shirt with a thing on it. He's white and thin. So clearly not a brother, which is going to lead us into the next little piece of drama that we're going to talk about. But they don't even know if that's the guy.
No.
He's a good guess based on what you can observe in the video of the figure that is running off the roof. But exactly, Paul. Talk about a grassy knoll. This is a person who probably had assistance. I don't know what you call those things other than hand signals. That's just the short version. That is not the longest video that's available. There's a video that's available that show the white guy doing the hat thing and doing his thing, and then the black shirted guy doing his thing. And right when the black shirted guy finishes, it's done.
Right. And the thing about it is, we're about to get into a different segment about something completely unrelated, but they're trying to make it related, is nobody on the left thinks like this, and honestly, Charlie Kirk wasn't a big enough problem, so to speak, and he doesn't have any political authority. He's just got a big mouth, and he was a nuisance. But I don't think there was anyone on the left that was like, "Oh, I got to go get this guy." And similarly, there's really nobody on the right that wanted him gone, because they've been listening to him and cheering him on for the better part of a decade, right? So who wanted him gone? And now there's something I think Samuel said it earlier, like it felt personal, like maybe somebody was gunning, no pun intended, was looking for him in particular. But it also could have been, you know what? We need a distraction. We run out of other things to distract us, so now we got this.
I mean, at the end of the day,
and you're right, Sam, we ain't nobody safe outside. Stay home.
Right.
Shelter in place.
You know, he was big on taking Israel's position on Gaza. He was. He wasn't completely clean on Epstein.
No.
He definitely had some feelings that are very conspiracy adjacent, like Epstein was a foreign asset for Mossad and stuff like that.
But he still said he thought the files should come out, and he's got a huge following. And he said that like either that day or the day before.
And you know, the incredible thing, to your point about his importance, one of his favorite tricks was going over to England and debating university students and doing this Jubilee stuff where it's, you know, one conservative with 50 liberals. And quite frankly, although a lot of the right wing tried to spin it as though he was dominating, he wasn't.
He got his ass handed to him on a daily basis.
And he dropped. This is the guy who dropped out of college. Let's not forget that. And I did some research because I wanted to know. This is a guy who dropped out of college and was making in 2000 whatever $27,000 a year. In 2021, he reported his income as $400,000 a year. This is the guy who owns 3 homes with his pageant winning wife and had 2 young children. But he made his career out of lying professionally and calmly, sometimes over emotionally, shouting down people, attempting to shout down people who actually knew better, and reinforcing the confirmed biases of people who didn't.
Is he divorced or are they still married?
No, they were married.
Okay, so I have deepest sympathies for the children. They were born into this. They didn't choose this life. Her, okay. She probably got decent insurance policy, you know, whatever. But
I mean,
moving on, because we said we weren't going to give him a whole lot of time. I'm sure he's looking up at us and wondering what's next for the world. So we'll go ahead and move on to something. So y'all are already talking about it in the chat, and this was the next thing we wanted to talk about. The HBCUs that have been targeted, you know, Bennett College being an HBCU, but you know, my name's Bennett and I ain't even in it. What? That's feeling like Nene Leakes. Now, how did I get in this? Right? What's been happening? Several, like more than 10 HBCUs have received threats in the last 24 hours. And so a lot of them, the AUC in Atlanta, Spelman, Clark, have been shut down, shelter in place. I think FAMU had a similar request, threats in North Carolina and South Carolina, because all across the South, HBCUs are being targeted for no other reason than, and I don't like you. My hero is dead. I don't have nobody else to blame. I'm not going to admit that it was one of my own that did it. So you know what? We're going to threaten you, right? I need you to not be happy. I need you to not thrive. I need to wipe out, eradicate, strike fear into the hearts of the most talented segment of Black America. Not saying that kids that go to PWIs are not equally talented and smart, sometimes smarter in some cases, but the mix of smart and socially aware of our struggle, because we go deep, we go hard on that at HBCUs, and
Absolutely.
building a network of powerful or potentially powerful Black people. If you think about how many of our civil rights activists came from an HBCU, all of them, then you understand why if I'm gonna target something, I'm going after you. I'm not going after the Black Student Union at Georgia Tech or UGA. I'm going after Spelman. I'm going after Morehouse. Even though we don't even know how to get to. I can't pick Iowa out on a map. I ain't going over there. Why would I go over there? Iowa is just something I fly over to get to Vegas, I think.
And since Mia Love passed, how many Black folks you know in Utah, except maybe a football player at BYU?
Why, Chan?
Chan. You know what? In this moment, while instead of doing this, take that comment off screen.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to bring to mind Melissa Hortman, who also passed from gun violence this year, 12 weeks ago.
For no other reason than she was a Democrat.
And
they shot her and
killed her husband
and the dog.
And the person who did that had a list of 70 other Democratic targets. Do you think flags were flown at half-mast for her?
That disrespect is so
Trump
blatant.
didn't even explicitly mention her name. And so this is a person who dedicated her life to public service, was the former Speaker of the House in Minnesota. And if she won't be commemorated by anybody else, we will commemorate her here, because there is a difference between persons who actually are representative of the best of our nation and people who are not. And as an aside, because this is something that we saw, I will let you all read it. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to let you all read it, but read it. And scene. So this is where we are. It is not where I think we should be, but at the same time, this is a person who literally said that empathy was a new age term that is actually dangerous.
Right. And so he doesn't want anybody to show empathy. So we're abiding by his wishes.
I mean, his last words were gang violence.
Yeah, the irony of being asked about school shootings and trying to be glib and deflective about it, and not deflective enough.
Including gang violence.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the words were as strong as the wind.
You know, somebody sent me something on Facebook, and it was a screen grab of the album cover of the Wu-Tang Clan album that included the track "Protect Your Neck."
Oh, I hate us.
And my reply to him was, if only he were a fan of this clan.
Oh, y'all was on one.
Oh yeah, we were on one.
Yeah, and I have to say, the internet remains undefeated. The amount of honestly, intelligently vicious tweets, threads, posts, clapbacks, etc., that I've seen have made me go, you know what, y'all talents are wasted out here, right? Keep your head on a swivel. You know.
Oh, come on.
Metal turtlenecks would have helped, but he was very much a proponent of there has to, and he is quoted as saying a certain amount of deaths by gun violence, we have to just accept that in order to keep our Second Amendment. So he literally died for his beliefs. Good on you. I mean, maybe he was talking out the side of his neck at the last moment.
So
that happened.
That did happen. and we're off of that. Um, why don't we talk about briefly? Why don't we talk about R SCOTUS? I put the R in front of it for racism.
Yes.
This is a court, and God bless 3 of the 4 women on the court, because they are fending off all sorts of threats to our Constitution from mostly the other 5, but usually the other 6.
Right.
And what has just happened this week, because there was, of course, a lot of interest in ICE and ICE detentions and what ICE was doing. And among the things that ICE was doing is, if you looked brown or you had a Spanish accent, or if they said something to you and you replied in Spanish, that in and of itself was enough for them to detain you.
Right.
And
so, usually it's The Simpsons that ends up being correct about the future. But in this case, it was Family Guy. Yep. This is where we are. This is where we are right now. Who would have thought?
Literally. And they said 6-3. No, that's good.
Yeah, that's fine. You can't engage in racial exceptions for college, but you can absolutely racially profile people to put them in prison, because again, they want to go back to a free labor society. It may not necessarily be picking cotton and grazing fields, although they do. I did see an article that said, did the farmers think that the black folks was coming back in the field? Because you had to know they was going to round up your whole team. Well, what were you thinking? But
Right.
They are interested in low cost labor, meaning we writ large, anybody brown enough becomes the sweatshop of the United States, all the way down to age 14, because they continue to lower the age at which you can start working. And they want to work us to death to just rake in more money. Yeah.
Well, and the interesting thing is that sometimes it's not just the SCOTUS, obviously, that's overwhelmed with racism, but we actually had a Georgia representative who called ICE on some Hyundai employees that were here from Korea, building and supporting and gearing up a plant for LG I think it was LG and Hyundai.
It was for building electric batteries.
Building electric battery thing. Yeah. And so this little gal said, ooh, I'm going to get some American jobs. And she called up ICE and said, it's about 500 of these Koreans, and they're doing these things.
They're here illegally, stealing American jobs.
Right.
They showed up and they do what they do.
And meanwhile, Korea's like, okay, we're going to get a Korean Air jet chartered, and we're going to put all of y'all on it. And it wasn't until after Trump. Go ahead, Joy.
I want to break this down. Matter of fact, because y'all know I'm a big K-pop and K-drama fan. I've been studying Korean for 2 years, and so I have a title for this too. When you say hello in Korean, it says "annyeonghaseyo." So I changed it to "annyeonghaseyo." No, right? Because y'all got to understand. Remember, saving face, being respected, showing honor and respect by age, by rank, by location, etc. All of that is extremely important in most Asian countries, but in Korea as well. And to have people that you have sent to a country to represent their country and to help another lesser country, because let's be real, we always see these videos saying Japan is living in the future, Korea is living in the future, China's living in the future. They came and tried to bring some of that future to us, and we arrested and shackled them and detained them and treated them no better than we would treat the worst criminal out there. We treated them like animals. And these are engineers, right? These are people that were coming here to set up a plant and put 8,000 jobs in the state of Georgia. This was Brian Kemp's last hurrah. He wanted to go out with a bang. And I promise you, if they had pulled this off, even a few Democrats had been like, yeah, he got that off. Like, it was a good thing for the whole state. And some ignorant white woman who thought that she would get in good and get the Trump people on her side by calling ICE, etc., and getting them out of here so they could get away and free up 200 or 300 jobs for white people, didn't understand what was happening. She ruined that whole deal. Not only did she ruin that deal, but South Korea is like, yeah, we're done with America. We're done with America. Do you understand? So there's another video that I saw, and it was a Korean woman, and she was talking about the culture, and she said, I don't think y'all understand who y'all dealing with. Once upon a time, Europeans brought what they call gochu, which is those red hot chili peppers that they put in like spicy Asian food. Gochujang. She said they brought those hot chili peppers over as a poison. People died from eating these, right? They were so hot, they caused allergic reactions. People anaphylactic shock and they died. Gochujang is one of the key ingredients in kimchi. Everybody in Korea turned something that was supposed to kill them into their favorite fucking food. Do you understand? Favorite. I will eat, when they say I will eat my enemies for breakfast, they mean that, right? They are so serious. And I got a couple other couple other pictures I wanted to show. So here's who was detained, right? And the person here is we'll call him a statesman from Korea. His name is Park Yoon-jae. And he said, our latest information is the flight from the U.S. will start at Thursday at 3 p.m. today, local time, and we expect their arrival in Incheon Airport around Friday, 7 p.m. Korean Standard Time. We will evacuate. Think about the language he's using. We will evacuate 306 Korean men, 10 Korean women, 10 Chinese nationals, 3 Japanese. If y'all don't understand how the Koreans don't like Japan, we're going to get the Japanese nationals out too.
Listen.
1 Indonesian national. We're getting everybody. And he's left with his parting comment. Thank you for the overwhelmingly kind and empathetic comments and expressions of sympathy. You know, we Koreans, we like ice in our Americano, but not for deportation. Y'all don't know petty until you know some Koreans. They will take it through generations. They will follow you around the city. Every time you turn around, they won't set your car on fire, but they will pull the carpets out and set them on fire. Like the pettiness knows no bounds. And if you think that they're going to come back and train Americans, because that's what they were here to do, was to help a lesser country. We are a third world developed country. They came to help us come out of the darkness. And it was going to help the economy. It was going to help the environment. They were trying to create some safe energy and some more forward-looking energy sources, better cars, et cetera. It's going to be competition for Tesla, blah, blah, blah. All of this scrapped. Not just that plant, but all of their plans in America, totaling up to almost $1 trillion. So this woman who thought she would get a couple hundred jobs and, you know, get some clout with the MAGA group, cost us $1 trillion because they ain't coming back. And there's no apologizing. There's no my bad. No. We're not trying to hear that. We out.
And you know, Sloop Lip actually tried to say, well, can some of y'all stay behind to train us on how to do these jobs?
I believe the phrase in Korean is Shibal Sekia, which is you mother. It means you MF and bastard. Adios, Shibal Sekia. That's what they're saying right now.
And also what they demanded as these people were leaving is they said, we are classifying all of these departures as self-deports so that you cannot put them on the list of people who were deported. So if anybody does want to come back, they can't be banned for 5 to 10 years for being here illegally. You all asked us to bring these people, and now you're pulling stunts. And so, yes, we're leaving, but we're leaving voluntarily. You are not deporting us. We're just getting on a plane and going because this was a part of a negotiated deal between our two countries, between these two huge companies that manufacture things.
Mm-hmm.
Americans are a lot of their jobs are in service. You look at the pathetic jobs reports, you've got the hospitality industry, you've got teachers who still aren't being paid enough, you've got a bunch of people doing things but not making things. You know what LG makes? Your phones, your TVs, your dishwashers, your refrigerators, they make a ton of stuff. Hyundai makes cars.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all driving Hyundai cars.
If your washing machine goes boo 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 boo, that is Samsung.
How about you know the whole tone?
I hear it every Saturday.
I think you're doing the Demon Hunters. One of those songs. Yeah. So the fatigue. Sam is fatigued. So we are not presenting ourselves in the best light internationally. Russia done attacked Poland, y'all. Poland is a NATO ally.
Right. We are right back in 1939.
What are we doing?
Or
you're
40,
sitting here
whatever it was.
flying flags at half mast for this little 31-year-old pissant, and Russia's bombing Poland. This is where we are as a nation. It's tough. It's
tough. It's sad. It's sadly accurate. We suck. And I also want y'all to think about something. I want to, because one of the things I do is I make patterns and I recognize things that people may not have caught on to yet. Do you understand? One of the other things that Korea has decided to do is, oh, you want to play stupid games? Well, win this stupid prize. All your American nationals that are in Korea, get out. Go. So we're not trying to learn English no more. All your English teachers, get out. All you people working in private companies that are here as expatriates, beat feet, get out. Go. Don't let the dough hit you. Get out. And so one of our greatest allies that honestly had all the technology we needed is like, yeah, I don't mess with you no more. Skincare, gone. Yeah.
Samsung is a Korean company, y'all.
Samsung, LG, Hyundai, yeah, Kia. I think Kia is Korean. Yeah. So
Kia's South Korean.
All of that's about to go. Not to mention they make parts for other companies. So Ford needed some of the stuff that they were going to be making in some of these plants. They ain't getting it now. And it's not like we can just say, oh, we'll do it ourselves. We didn't know how to do it. That's why they were coming to help us.
And the factories aren't here. Do you not understand that Samsung makes screens for iPhones? In addition to the big ass TVs that you like? Considered the best TVs in the world. You know, Westinghouse doesn't exist anymore for TVs and stuff. General Electric don't even make TVs anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
we should have ended in 2000. Yeah,
Tesla is moving. Tesla's moving because they can't afford to be in business here. Israel's marching on Gaza. This idiot who thinks that he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize is presiding over the worst period of governmental instability, political instability, and he's renaming illegally the Department of Defense to the Department of War.
Right.
And you asking for a peace prize. Are you kidding me?
Prize. I will continue to burn things down until I get my peace prize. What is happening? What is wrong with you? Uh-oh. Where did he go? And why did he leave me up here by myself?
I'm coming back.
Okay. I'm just checking on because as you can tell, I'm not in my normal spot. I'm in a friend's house and I wanted to make sure that she didn't come home before I was done with this. What? Galactus?
Galactus is just ready. Galactus waiting on a snack, y'all.
Right. Just eat us. Where's the black people with the spaceship? I'm ready to go. Oh, but I was coming to a point earlier about the larger pattern. When you start to alienate your allies, what's happening to the United States right now, especially to those of us that didn't vote for this, we are in a relationship with a violently narcissistic individual. And what narcissists tend to do is first off, they abuse you and then they heal you to make you think you need to depend on them. They're the only ones that can save you. And they also make sure they cut off all avenues and access to anybody else that might help you. They get rid of your friends. They alienate you from your family. They make you think that your friends are out to get you. And they tell you that these people are wrong. And then if you love them, you can't love anybody else. Trump is alienating us from our allies so that we have no one to turn to. And if people react the way South Korea did, there is no, I'm just going to leave the country and go where? Nobody will let us in. We will be trapped on this land. And then because you don't pass the paper bag test, you are a criminal by default. Then they enact what we never took out of the 13th Amendment. We all go to jail, and there's the free labor they've been looking for the last 60 years. And it's all part and parcel. If you didn't go through that Project 2025, this all seems exaggerated and nonsensical, and they would never. They've been writing this for a long time.
A long time.
Right.
Y'all are confused.
If you don't want to read Project 2025, read The Handmaid's Tale. I mean, it's the same thing. What they do is they place themselves in positions across the power spectrum. It's not just the government. Think about how long it took to get the Supreme Court the way it is now. It didn't start with Trump. It ended with him. It started with Scalia and Clarence Thomas, right? And we all owe Anita Hill a huge debt, right? Honestly, if you really want to be serious about it, it started with the assassination of President Lincoln.
Well,
there's always been a group here, because remember, he got assassinated after the war was over. But if we get rid of him, then we get rid of this whole 40 acres and a mule thing. And we get rid of that, we can keep these Black folks down. Then we just start discriminating against Black farmers and not giving them any seeds and stealing their land. And then we convince them to take, we get another shot, convince them to take all of the protective troops out of the South, and now we can just murder Black people wholesale and start putting up Jim Crow laws and disenfranchise them. And let's go ahead and add in, let's do the Chinese Exclusion Act. The government is in on the discrimination because these are our government representatives that wrote these things, right? And it was declared unconstitutional later, but the damage was done. Just like right now, all of these executive orders that he's signing, they're all up for lawsuits, etc. They're going to be declared unconstitutional later, but the damage is still being done. People's family members are missing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Folks have been arrested, detained, and shipped off to another country. You can't say they're deported because they're American citizens. He and the people behind him who are controlling him are setting it up so that there is no one to turn to, nowhere to go, and nothing to do to save yourself other than to comply. That's where they're going with this. If you want to leave the country, you got to get out of here by the end of this year. Let me drink the rest of this wine.
And we're supposed to be hosting two of the biggest international events during Trump's presidency.
Mm-hmm.
FIFA and the Olympics. Bad Bunny refused to set tour dates in the United States because of ICE raids. Because he was concerned that his fans would get caught up.
He's right. He's right.
He absolutely is right.
As a matter of fact, I had that thought because I went to see my favorite band, well, my kids, Stray Kids, in June, and there was concern that they might be detained. Because they came in through California, went to Seattle, and they kind of toured west to east across the United States, and then their last tour was in Toronto, which was smart on their part. So they left the United States, they left North America out of Canada, and not out of the U.S. Yeah. And then they went to Europe and had a good time. So they made it in and out. A couple other bands made it in and out. Bad Bunny is right to be worried about his people.
Absolutely he is. Why would you even want to consider? Why would you take the risk?
Mm-hmm.
You want your people to continue to be able to buy records.
Right. America is the dumbest country in the world. We have a high illiteracy rate. We have a high functioning illiterate rate. And we also have an aversion to education because somehow we have separated education from prosperity, and people want to be rich, but they don't want to be smart because smart people are ridiculed because we make people who don't have that degree feel bad about themselves. But rich people are lauded because they feel like they can be rich too, especially if that rich person got it by hook or crook. I can always rob you. I can't always beat you in a spelling bee.
That's one way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely one way to put it.
The reason they called them robber barons, they was robbing people. Most of the folks that created this, well, we know this, all the folks that created the culture and country that we have now was some straight up jerks, criminals, gangsters. None of their hands are clean, and they became the tyrants or the heroes of the giants of the industry, you know. The Olympics, I don't know if they're coming to California. If they do, because remember, as history repeats itself, didn't a whole lot of people boycott the Germany Olympics?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Except us, we showed up. The United States was there. Because half of us was Nazis anyway.
Well, and of course, had we not, then Jesse Owens and everything else. But for sure. No, it's
And
It's
Sam, you got a
definitely
good point.
something.
You don't have to have a degree to be educated. You can study and read on your own if you know how to, but you need to know how to read, and you need to be willing to read. That's another thing.
Well,
People don't
yeah,
want to read anymore. And this idea that being smart is offensive. Who do you think
right.
you are? There's a comedian, the one that does all the voiceovers, Tony Baker. And every time he's about to have a couple of like animals fight with, oh, you think you better than me? Oh, you think you better than me? That phrase resonates with me because that's what ends up happening. One of the reasons that they are so hell bent on quote unquote putting us in our place is not because we think we're better than them. It's because they know we're better than them.
There
And
it
the only
is.
way to maintain their control is to shut all of this progress down ASAP. And they have to shut it down before we get to the midterm elections. This is the race we're in now. Can we get to the midterms before they declare martial law or get us into a war with another country? We got 14 months. And look at the damage he's done in 200 days.
I wanted to show something because we're at an hour, and so I wanted to kind of start the winding down. But because we were just talking about Bad Bunny and stuff like that, there was a song that came out on socials, and I'm sorry, Mom, there's some language in here, but I thought we thought here that the Sharpies might enjoy it, so we want to share. This song is for all of us. It's only 30 seconds, but it's a banger.
Fuck ice, we ain't gonna play nice. Oh, you wanna fight? Keep sucking daddy's dick on the far right. Fuck ice, we ain't gonna play nice. Oh, you wanna fight? Keep sucking daddy's dick on the far right. Fuck ice, 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 ice. Ice, 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 ice. Ice, 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 ice. Ice, 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 ice.
So,
one time for the
that was
Roxbury.
not, yeah, exactly. The Roxbury. That was not Blackpink, even though the entire video was black and pink. But
yeah, that's not Blackpink. Don't put that on them.
No, I will not put it on them. But it was a black and pink video.
Mm-hmm.
That's an anthem. That's a ringtone. That's an amazing piece of art in these times. It warms my soul.
Now,
go ahead.
What I hope starts to happen at some point is we start to develop a level of international Black privilege where Americans can't come over, but Black people, y'all, we know y'all get out. Y'all get out. Brown folks, specific brown folks, because we know that there were some factions of melanin that sided with this nonsense. But Black people, Black women should have an international visa. We can go wherever we want to go. And anybody we vouch for to come with us can come. Now let's see who's invited to the cookout.
All of your stamps are just braids. Just some braids and you're good. Just go ahead and come on in, sister. We love what you're doing.
I have not gotten into Agenda 2030, but we'll probably talk about that in the next show.
Oh God. Is that a good thing for you?
No.
Oh, night. Yeah, 2026 is super duper important, y'all. It's like so super important. We just need to make sure that we are cutting short as much as possible any continuation of this unchecked agenda. We just gotta make it happen. Now I know you have.
I was wrong. This isn't what I was thinking it was. Sustainable Development Goals set by 17 interconnected, adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that the people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. So this, if it's the same thing that you're talking about, this is a UN potentially opposition to our nonsense Project 2025.
Do you want to show your video just to kind of end things on like
Yes, since Black people influence culture all over the world, and we were talking about the connections between some Asian countries and Black folks, I just found this really, really cute. I do like to end on a high note, and so sometimes when people say I'm sick of you, they really be sick of you because you act up. And this is probably my favorite fight video that I've ever seen. I won't even tell you what's about to happen. Just check it out.
it, baby, stick it, baby, move it, baby, lick it, baby, suck up on that cookie till that pussy got a hickey, baby, watch it, coulda brought a Range Rover. Chain loose, but I spent some change on it. Nigga mad, I'ma put the gang on him. Down.
He's so over her. He's looking at her like, oh, I can just slap you in the face right now.
I have to say, I don't think he's probably ever been as happy to be beaten by an opponent.
Right?
She was throwing it down, actually.
Right?
I don't know if she was kind of giving Ronda Rousey thickness. Like there was a lot going on in the trunkage of the junkage. So I was not mad. That's who you want to train with. You want to train with somebody who can whoop your ass and have a good time while she's doing it. Because go ahead, you got it. I don't know what Kiss or Die is, so
yo, I'm about to tell y'all about Kiss or Die. So it's on Netflix, first of all, so most of you can probably see it. Y'all know I'm deep into like Asian movies, anime, K-dramas, etc. This is actually a Japanese show, and Kiss or Die is a limited series improv show. They brought in several comedic actors to be the, I guess you say, the contestants on this show. And the thing is, if you go for what they call a cheap kiss, you get kicked off the show. Your character dies. You're supposed to be improving like a TV series or whatever, like, being a manager in a firm and you got to interview people, or you are a doctor or whatever. Here's the kicker though. When they brought in all of these male comedic actors and they said, here's a primer for what's about to happen. And they showed them porn with specific female actresses in it, female porn stars. Now, the female porn industry is huge in Japan for reasons we won't even get into. Y'all understand what fetishization is. However, these women, they like to have fun and crack jokes and stuff too. So the trick is they show them porn with a particular star in it, and then they start the improv immediately. Hey, Mr. So-and-so, come do this interview with the last candidate. And they get in there, and the last candidate is that porn star. And now they got to look at her. They just saw her naked literally 5 minutes ago. And they got to look at her and try to improv a scene. And she's like, it's so happy to meet you. And now they get in their face. When I tell you, they put it all in their face. And the thing is, can you resist going in for the cheap kiss? Her lips are right there. Her boobs are right there. And you watch these guys, and they also got to keep ad-libbing. They got to keep going with this false like improv. When I tell y'all it's hilarious, I have not slapped my thigh laughing like that in a long time. It is great. If you want something to just distract you from the fires outside your window, Kiss or Die on Netflix is great.
Yeah. While you're protecting yourself from the purge,
yes,
Kiss or Die, brought to you by Netflix, courtesy of Orida and Bartlett.
Right. Netflix been saving the world since the Hong Moon back in June with K-pop Demon Hunters, which you also should watch. And I'm not telling you to ignore things. I'm not telling you not to be empathetic, because I believe empathy is a superpower. What I'm telling you is sometimes you need a palate cleanser, a moment of a breath of fresh air.
Correct.
Just a moment to not be mired in the misery that they're trying to inflict upon us, because what we have right now is not one set of ideals versus another. You have people that care about folks versus people that like to torture animals. I said it. These are the group that set ants on fire, cut tails off of puppy dogs, kick their little sister, drown cats. That group is happy not only to see you fail, but to see you in pain. This is the group that tortures inmates, right? That commits war crimes. It's that group against folks that say, hey, maybe everybody has a right to live. That's where we are. It's not about economic policy. It's about, do you have the right to live or be tortured to death? Those are the things. Don't get it twisted. And it's in those extremes. And because of that, sometimes fighting a good fight takes it all out of you. And you need a distraction, a moment, some rest, some wine and a gummy, whatever you need. Yo, take care of yourself, because your mental health,
Please.
losing it ain't gonna help nobody.
Nope.
Yes, Anthony, protect your peace, your sanity, and yourself. Stay home, have a glass of wine, watch some TV, stay out the streets. You know, there's actually a documentary that they're trying to make around the 92% and the rest is rebellion movement. They're kickstarting it right now. If I can find that link again, I'll put it on our Facebook page. But Chan, God damn it. So Anthony said, protect your peace, your sanity, and yourself, and your neck. I love our Sharpies. Because we sharp. We are really sharp.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. So, the Wu. So, protect your neck, everybody. With that, do you have anything else, Joy?
No, I fear that the following shows over the next months are going to be just as packed with, oh my God, what happened? More than one thing happened this week. So we'll see where we are next Thursday.
We sure will. And as always, I will be here because I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And this has been Steel Sharpens Steel. We will see you again next week. Thank you.